We interrupt your regularly scheduled program to bring you another episode of We Can Help with Dave and Woody, already in progress.
Yeah,
So
because
what?
we can't add. Go ahead.
Yeah, but what you're saying is you got your finger so far up your nose you could feel.
That's not fair, man. I don't think the listeners realize that. Well, so should we tell them what we do?
What do you mean?
How we come in and out of this conversation that's really not happening.
Oh no,
And
I
each
think
one
they
of us
figured it out on
we
the
flip a
second
coin who
episode.
gets to do it, and obviously you won that one.
Yeah, you checking
Yeah,
out
it
my
was.
new digs?
Yeah, that's Herman Miller Eames Aluminum Group right there.
Right, management
That's
came through for me with the good stuff.
soft pad.
Oh, and how much did they spend on my chairs?
Well, back in the day, that was probably a $2,600 chair. Yeah.
Hey, listen, can you get a discount with Herman Miller?
So I had my heart hurts. I had an Eames lounge and ottoman, the bent plywood one, the one you always see on TV.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a $3,600 chair with the ottoman. And I had it Mac Daddy in this super cool black leather. $3,600 list. I got it for 70 off. So I paid
70%, not $70.
Yeah, 70.
I was like, woo, $70.
You're killing it. $3,600 times 0.30, $1,080. So
Wow.
that was a steal.
You still paid that much for it, though.
Oh, yeah.
That seems crazy to me.
Well, it's a chair and an ottoman. So,
yeah. Well, that makes all the difference. I don't spend that much on a couch.
I looked it up, and they're going for $7,000 to $9,000 a piece now.
And where is yours?
I had to hawk it to pay the mortgage one time.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
How much you sell it for?
I think like $2,600.
Wait a second. You had to hawk it to cover your mortgage?
Yeah, 2009, man.
Were you living out of your trunk? What was going on?
We had 5 pieces of property.
Oh.
And the crash hit, and it was like, okay, well, what are we gonna do?
Right.
So we were
Were you underwater? Rich. Were you underwater?
We had to wait it out. Yeah. I was trying to I had a piece of property I could sell and made money on, but I couldn't get it to sell. And so instead of us, it was tough, man. 2009 was a lesson learned. Never to do.
I mean, it wasn't a lesson. I mean, what lesson did you learn?
Real estate's a long-term investment.
Well, it usually is, right? I know people flip homes, but that's insane.
Well, we were sitting on 5 properties and 30 acres of land. It's a long story, but we survived it, and God gave us stuff to hawk.
Yeah.
I had an Eames aluminum lounge group, another $3,600. So we got 6 months worth of rent, mortgage out of it.
What do you sell those on? Like eBay?
I think it was Craigslist back then.
Oh, really? So seriously, it was.
This guy that bought it was from Gainesville. We met him somewhere in Jacksonville, and he was hustling. He knew his stuff. He was a Herman Miller expert.
Oh, okay.
So
did he get a deal on it?
$2,600.
Used
List is 36. It doesn't matter. Those things are sweet.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Tell our post-production person to look up a Eames lounge and ottoman chair. She can stick it in there. Herman Miller Eames lounge at bent plywood.
Wow.
Pretty cool.
Before we came on, I guess I could have used those words as the word of the week, but you were pretty impressed. I came up with Flotsam and Jetsam.
I was. I thought it was the stuff you do after you brush your teeth. And then Flotsam, and then when you Jetsam is when you get like a laxative.
Is that
It's kind of the same. You get rid of stuff off the side.
So we asked our research assistant, because I couldn't remember which was which, but one is purposeful and the other is by accident, ship debris, right?
Yeah.
Jetsam is when you throw it overboard, and flotsam is the stuff remaining floating after a boat sinks, whatever is floating on the top of the water.
Yeah, you wonder how How does that come to be? Is that hold on? Let's find out something. Alexa, what is the origin of the word flotsam?
The noun flotsam originated from Old English in the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland around 1600 to 1610.
You remember we said that how much of our language comes out of the 1500s and 1600s? A lot.
Must be when they first started talking.
You think Jetsam is the same era? It's got to be.
Yeah, I assume so.
Alexa, what is the origin of the word jetsam?
From marineinsight.com. The term jetsam comes from a contraction of jettison, which means to launch or throw an object.
Uh,
Yeah, that's big help there.
she's on top of it.
Well, to be honest with you, the only reason I know both those words is that was the name of a heavy metal band in the 80s, Flotsam and Jetsam.
I think that'd be a great name for a boat.
Yeah. It's kind of predisposed to either
What does that
possibly
mean? Get away from him. He's throwing stuff off the side of the boat.
either that or it's going down.
Yeah.
One of the two.
Or it's a bunch of scrap. You made a boat out of stuff you found. Oh boy, we should change the name of our show to Marineland.
Yes. Hey, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't clear this with you before the show, but one of the directions we talked about taking this show, I'd like to, announce that here. What was that?
Skin.
Skin.
No, we were trying to get some viewers.
Oh. Well, in that sense, maybe bringing a little bit different angle to the show than we normally do. Not normally. I think we're already doing it, but maybe
Get
we
on
do
with it. What?
with a little bit so not only are we fraternity brothers, but me and you have upwards of 50 years experience of being fathers in this world. And there is I wouldn't call it a scourge, but there is a lack of parental guidance in the world these days. Not within the crew that we know listens to this show normally, or normal listeners, but in general, there's a lot of young folks that don't have that parental guidance, and parents, new parents, older parents, where we could add some experience to their questions.
Like fatherly advice kind of thing?
Yeah. And I wouldn't say so much fatherly advice, but just, yeah, sure. And I don't buy into these hashtag things too often, but I don't know if you noticed, but on the YouTube description, I put 2 new hashtags in there. There's dedication and dedicated. Yes.
Yeah, I was confused.
All right. That's a thing going around these days. And I thought maybe we could jump on that bandwagon and still use our wit. I mean, we do it quite often. We talk about our kids and, what we tell them and, the experience we've had with them, but maybe we
expand on
that and maybe bring a slightly younger audience to our show occasionally as well. But the problem is we don't have that young audience right now to garner questions or things they'd like some advice on.
So when you say young audience, you're not talking about the children. You're talking about the younger parents that are out there.
Well, not only younger parents, but kids in their 20s, adult kids
young adults.
Young adults looking for, because this is not a kid show and never will be. We're way too...
Except for the Wiggles.
Yes, for the Wiggles. Or Bluey. I think we've had a discussion about Bluey before.
Yeah, I don't think it was the right context, though. But anyway.
No, that's more about the choice of names for your show. There was some smart ass in that room going, yeah, let's call it Bluey. No problem with that, right?
Yeah, it's a dog. Sure it is.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think my problem is I struggle after a hard day's work. I got a funny story today to do, but I struggle after work to really come with an agenda. I think what we've done successfully, even with both of our listeners, I think what we've done successfully is we extemporaneous, where our thought is kind of ebb and flow.
Right.
You're really the straight guy in this deal. You're the one that kind of sets the tone and brings up some of the topics, and then I kind of extrapolate from there. But no,
It's
I'm
same thing,
with you.
but with maybe some advice. Like at this point in time of the year, maybe we dedicate 10 minutes to, and in line with our show is, some kids. Well, it's probably a little late now because we're at the end of January, but maybe some kids are out there trying to decide whether or not they join a fraternity, right?
Yeah.
And as much as I love Sigma Chi and all the experiences I had, I can't say that it's for everyone, right?
Well,
As
that's
he's
true.
reading something in the background instead of paying attention to
no,
me.
I'm paying attention. It's just I just thought I would check our email just to see in case someone wrote us a question. I didn't want to miss an opportunity. All I see is someone's logged into my X account from a different
different, from a different IP. But so anyhow, if people out there have some, and some of our friends do have young children, and maybe they have some questions, and don't expect an absolute serious answer. It'll always be we'll
laced
always
with
add
humor.
Yes, laced with humor and a fun way of answering the question. But in the bottom, in the end, I feel we could add some advice, because how many years? Well, you adopted your oldest child, right?
Correct.
All right. So like my oldest is 26 years old, so I have 26 years experience raising children, right?
Well, mine's 36, although I didn't have the first 11 years with her, but
that's what I was thinking.
Other
22.
kids, street kids, I raised.
So 50 years experience raising children. And for those who don't know or haven't figured it out yet, me and Dave have different, I wouldn't say ideologies, right? But different takes on the world. We're not in simpatico on that.
No, it's okay. We have
Right.
That's what makes it. That's what makes America great again.
Right. Oh, just had to do that. Why don't you go take a leap in the Gulf of America?
Hey, isn't that funny though? Google's on board. It's done.
Whatever. Yeah, I wonder why.
Because they don't want to get left out.
So dumb.
Do you know why he did it?
I just pissed because he could.
No, because Biden put a moratorium on drilling for oil in the Gulf of Mexico.
Oh, so it's just to get around the rules?
Yeah. So he said, okay, well, screw you. We'll make a Gulf of America. I think it's pretty funny. And, well, I don't want to get to it.
Yeah, hence why we don't have these discussions.
Because Woody can't take it.
I'm not a great debater, is the problem. I'll think of things 20 minutes after we talk. I'm like,
yours just goes, screw you. I'm tired of talking to you. No,
right. Okay. So, but anyhow, so I just want to throw that out there and maybe inject that from time to time during the week. And maybe some kids are trying to choose a college to go to, a fraternity to join, a sorority to join. And, we could offer some suggestions based on why we joined the fraternity we did at the time, because we didn't know we were going to have the experience we had. Right.
Well, nobody does.
Right. But there were factors that led us into what was a good organization. And to me, I think one of the key things people should look at, and I'm not sure if it was the case for you or not. Well, it had to be, because the president of the fraternity, right? If it simply is a what's the word I'm looking for? The most popularity vote, it may not be a great experience. I mean, when I joined, the president of our chapter was also the president of the student body at the time. Yeah, John. And that was a huge, like, wow, this group's got some people in it that have
some clout.
Yeah, and are trying to do things, in a positive manner. So that was something. I know they bragged about it a lot during the rush, as a matter of fact. So, but that's a clear sign, because if it's just a popularity vote and the guy in a fraternity's sake, the guy that gets in is just one who talks about partying and hazing and things of that nature, then that's what the fraternity is going to do, and it's just going to lead to no good, right? So
So what does that say about me? Because the president when I got in was Ted.
was it really?
Yes.
Hmm. Well, I mean,
It's all fun.
he
Yeah,
had ambition.
he
It
sure did.
just, yeah, it just wasn't. And for anybody who's second guessing, his problem wasn't illegal or anything like that. He just had a
He,
propensity to lie.
he was a narcissist.
Yes,
It
and
was it was
a
the Ted
person who
show.
lied, right?
It's okay.
And so, in that sense, but you think of Alan and Mark, who were the other presidents during our tenure, and I believe they've all gone on to do very positive
I guess
things.
Ted was my initiating president. Alan became president later on.
Okay, I couldn't
Yeah.
remember. I thought it was Mark after that.
Maybe it was Mark. I don't know.
Yeah.
Mark, Alan, Ted was who initiated me, and then Mark, and then
Okay.
Alan. I can't remember.
All right. Regardless,
There was a
all
lot of
very good
drinking
guys.
involved.
And when we visited the chapter this past, was it? It's been a year now, hasn't it? It's coming up on a year.
February, yeah.
Yeah. Very intelligent, and you can tell things are going well for him, and he has, things are going to happen for him, right? So that would
Okay.
be one thing I would check out if you're deciding, if you're thinking about joining a fraternity, is whoever's leading that fraternity is a good indicator of what you can expect from it.
And how much their dues are. That's important.
Yes. It is. Can you afford it? I had no clue. So,
all right.
But anyhow,
great show.
yeah, I appreciate.
7:32.
Yeah, you ready to knock this one out? You
Let's
said you
wrap
had a
it up.
funny story at school today. So,
yeah. So today was my review. I don't know how funny it is.
well, I thought that was last week.
Well, it was supposed to be, but something came up. It wasn't my doing. It was my administrator. I don't
It
know.
was the cold weather.
We
You've
had a
got-
day off. Yeah,
We
we
had a
snow
day off because it's cold, and today it's 70 degrees outside here.
Yeah, I could have had a cigar tonight, but I got to do this. Anyway,
Yeah, so
it's
sorry.
supposed to get down to 45. I got my
So
window.
sorry I saved your life.
Yeah. So I don't know. I had my review today. I think it went well. I just got I don't want to get too labored into it. I felt off a little bit.
Well,
And
thanks for bringing it up.
I
as a
know, and
subject.
it really wasn't funny. It
Jesus.
was just, when you have expectations, you want to do well, and then
Yes.
something happens that gets you sideways. I had a phone call that happened right before it started,
Ah,
and it got me sideways. I had a enterprise rental car that we rent for my FBLA group.
yes.
They couldn't figure out how to reconcile their accounting, and they were trying to get me to cut another check. And a long story. I mean,
Well, that'll fix your accounting.
I'm like, I'm not doing your job, buddy.
Listen, Enterprise is short about 100 million this quarter.
Okay,
You
I'll
think
reconcile your accounts for you, buddy.
You think you can come up with $100?
I'll call you from Belize. Yeah, no, it was okay. I was a little off, sometimes, and so I saw the lady after school, and she was like, "Oh no, Miss Fish, you did great," and I'm like, "Oh, well, okay." Yeah.
Well, what are they going to say? That goes back. It's one of my pet peeves that you do a presentation at work or something. Nobody says you did a shitty job, right? Oh, great job.
Well, she had a banker's box in her hand, so that was.
What?
Don't you know that, the banker's box?
No.
You've never been fired before?
Oh, I see. So she handed it to you. I
Yeah,
see.
you get a banker's box, and there's
yeah.
a deputy that's going to escort you to the parking lot.
Yeah, but I always liked that people always you'd come off the dais or whatever, and then come down. Oh, you did a great job today. Like, really? Were you even in the room? I always feel like saying, or I feel like going, what did I say that was so enlightening?
Well, you're always your biggest critic, right? Your biggest.
I guess.
So I don't know. I'm going to sleep very well tonight, so I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah.
But I did have a Publix misrepresenting shopping as a pleasure moment. I don't know if I want to. So I go to the store.
Would you stop bringing up
I know,
stories
it's
and
the
then
four-way
say,
stop.
nah, I don't
It's
want to
called the
talk
four-way
about it.
stop. All right, so we moved recently, so we're kind of not in the woods, but we're further south in the county.
Right.
And so we're in an area where I used to live between two Publixes. Like I could hit a driver to one of them, and then
I'm
3
in that
shots.
situation now. So
Yeah, so it didn't matter. I had this rule: you never go back. So if you forget something or something, you just don't go back. You go on about your day. But when I lived that close to Publix, I had choices. I could, I'll just go down the street and get this one. So I have to plan my trip is the point. And now we have a bunch of road construction going on in the county. So the North Loop, the bridge is out, and you can't go that route to go around. And the South Loop, you have to go south to go north. You ever been in that
loop, you
situation?
mean like the
I live
like
like in the base of the horseshoe.
of what horseshoe of
Well, the
a
county.
okay. All
There's
right.
2 roads. I can go around one way to get up north, or I go around the other way
I
to
thought
get
you were
up
talking
north.
like a beltway or something.
Well, there's only 2 roads in Clay County that you can pretty Blanding and 17. And so if you live somewhere else, you're kind of screwed. But anyway, so the point of this is I had to plan my trip, and I had to go up to CVS to get some medicine. I wanted to, I'm one of these guys that navigates it all out. So I got the place that has the free air for my tires. So I zoom in there,
How
get my
often do you make that stop?
uh, I got something going on with my right front.
Good Lord.
But once every 6 weeks, I'm like, what's going on
Oh,
here?
that's not too. I thought you were going to say 6 days. I was like, oh, Lord.
I'm out there with a tire pump. No, so I'm gonna get the wheels rotated. I'll tell you something else.
Oh, that
But
should
let
take
me
care of
let
it.
me finish this story. So I navigate the free air, got that done. Then I go over to CVS and get my drugs and got that done. And then it's all on the loop. And so I
Then
curve
I go by and get air back in the tires again.
to get back across the highway. So then I go to Publix, and I made a list. I had Sheila text me what we needed, just a couple things, because I was going to go pick up some saline nasal gel. When you get old, folks, you need this.
I use the spray.
Yeah, I don't like the spray. The nasal gel
Well,
does
when you have
something.
a schnoz like mine from Poland, it takes a lot of, and with the heat on, I feel like my skin's about to come
Well,
off.
that's what's going on with me.
All right.
That's when I use it during the wintertime. Anyway, so this stuff is like $7 at another store, and I figured it out. It's like $2,500 a gallon if you calculate all of it out. So I
More
buy it.
expensive than
Yeah, I
gas.
buy it at Publix for $4.99 a piece. And so while I'm there, I'm going to get 2 of them, right? So I go through the line. I got, I don't know, toilet paper, plastic bags, 2 of these things, and English muffins because they were buy one, get one free. And so I get out to the car. Now that's my final run, and I've committed myself to go south to the county, and I'm pulling into the house, get out of the car, load the stuff in, and my wife's in the house. And I go, honey, by the way, did you grab the saline things out of the bag? So then, of course, it goes into, the hunt and destroy
Right,
thing.
right. Must have fell
Well,
out of the bag in the car.
they never got in the bag. So I paid for them. And she's like anti-Publix now. So she's like, when is he ever going to figure it out? And so I start screaming, and it's playtime. We're playing. I'm not
Yeah.
really that mad.
Right.
But I'm like, they're totally misrepresenting the shopping as a pleasure experience. Bullshit. I got to go back. And so, I almost did the McDonald's thing with the lady. So I called the store manager.
Oh, you called. You didn't drive back.
Oh, hell no, because it's another hour to get back over
Right.
there. So I called the store manager. The person's name is Micah, I think. And it sounds like a girl. So
Okay.
so I said, "Hey, Micah, listen, I'm a little frustrated. I'm not going to get too upset with you, but I was just there. Melissa was my cashier. I got the receipt. I got charged for 2 of these things. I came there to buy these things, and they're not in the bag. And I've searched the car, and
Right.
and I feel confident that they just didn't make it." He goes, "No, you're right, Mr. Dave. The bag boy just came over and told me about it, and I asked him to put them back on the shelves." And I said, "I'm thinking, well, can you get his ass in the car and drive him over here or not?"
You got that delivery. So let me call DoorDash for you.
Yeah.
You know?
So I said, "Look," he goes, "You want to just stop by and come by, pick him up?" And I'm like, "No, I live on the other side of the county." I said, "Will someone be there? Can we make a note that I spoke to you?" And he goes, "Yeah, I'm Micah, and I'll be here tomorrow, so you can come by anytime." I said, "Okay, I'm going to write your name on the receipt, and then I'll navigate back over there." He goes, "Okay, well, I'm giving it away." So
Why don't you
anyway,
just say, why don't you just have them credit your account?
No, because I want the things, and I want to get them from there. I've already paid
All
for 'em.
right.
So
All
I
right.
go over there, and there's a big fellow working behind the lottery thing, and he goes, "Can I help you?" And I said, "Yeah, I spoke with Micah, and she said
Ah.
to come on back because I thought it was a chick."
Oh,
And
the
so,
voice made you
yeah,
think
the
it was.
voice.
Okay.
And so this is a big black guy I'm talking to, and he goes, "What'd you say her name was?" I said, "Micah." And he goes, "Well, the only Micah we have is, that guy over there." And so this guy comes over, and
Oh,
he's a little how do we say,
I'm not saying it.
friendly, happy. He's happy go lucky. And I said, he goes, "Who'd you speak to?" And I said, I think her name was Micah. I did it again.
Okay, you doubled down on it in
Yeah, I didn't
front
see
of the
the name
person.
tag,
The one they just told you is Micah. You
and he
doubled
goes,
down.
"Well, I'm Micah." And I go, "Oh crap." So I'm like, "Micah, I'm so sorry. My phone doesn't get good reception where I live."
I still have one of those football phones from Sports Illustrated.
Yeah, exactly. So I said, "Please forgive me." He goes, "No, it's okay, sir." And I'm like, "Hey, you see that? Doesn't it sound like a chick?" So he goes, I said, "What do you want to do?" He goes, "Just go ahead and get those out of the shelf and come on back." I'm like, "Okay." So I said, "Do I need to do anything else?" And he goes, "No." I'm like, "I'm getting out of here."
How about these three in my back pocket that I stuffed in there?
By the way, you're out over there because I took the rest of
Right.
them. So anyway, that was my, you know, not so much
Well, they took
misrepresentation of a
care of
pleasure.
you.
They did. It was just frustrating. I'm
Yeah,
getting so old. I just don't have the energy to go back and fight with anybody anymore.
someone just told me a story, and maybe it was you. Was it you that told me where something happened with the change or something, and so they went back in the store and they actually had to oh, it was my wife. So she went by CVS to pick up my prescription for my son. CVS, do you guys have those? I assume
Oh
you
yeah,
do
that's where I get
nationwide.
my
Okay.
drugs.
So she went through the drive-through on purpose to pick up some drugs, and as the guy so my wife gives her the credit card because our last name's tough to spell, and so we usually just give them the credit card so they can read it, and plus you got to pay for them. And so as he reaches back out with the credit card and the drugs, he goes, "That was, I don't know, $20." She goes, "Oh, did you apply the insurance to that?" So he just pulled both things back into the window and redid it all, and handed the drugs back out the window. And she's like, "Yeah, give me my credit card." He goes, "I gave it to you, ma'am." And she's like, "No, remember when I asked about insurance, you never gave me either." She's like, "Ma'am, I gave you the credit card." And he would not let go of this fact. And so she ended up having to then drive around to the front of the store, get out, and go all the way back to because it's always in the very back,
Yeah, yeah.
right? And the kid's still denying. He was a young kid, and he's still denying. He's telling the pharmacist, because they always run the counter, "I gave her the card. She lost the card." And so they got out the security footage and they watched. And when the kid brought the both back in, he put it down. The card fell off, fell on the counter and went under the register.
Oh gosh.
So that's how they did. And so what's the kid do? He comes back with a credit card and goes, "Here's your card." It doesn't say sorry or anything. So, but
Wow.
it was so ridiculous that she had to go inside and look at the kid wouldn't look for it. He was adamant that he had given it back to her. So that was a fun little experience at CVS. A shake your fist at the clouds moment for her. So
Yeah. Do you, you've spawned another story, but I keep doing that. It's one-upmanship. But the phone call I got
it's fine
today.
with me. Go ahead.
So the phone call that got me sideways today was this thing from Enterprise. And
Yeah, you
so
mentioned that they were
yeah, but I
looking
didn't
for
give the
more money.
details. So what happened is we rented a car. We rented two vans. I drove one and my counterpart drove one. And
This was like 6
it,
months ago, right? Or 8 months.
October.
Oh, you did it in October. Okay.
Yeah. And so I've learned, and it's okay. We have a county contract with Enterprise. We get a rate. And so I got a PO from my bookkeeper I called Enterprise and we secured the reservation with the PO. And then instead of me having to orchestrate a check and walk a check into the place, I just hand them the PO and then they process the billing back to us based on that number. And then our bookkeeper writes a check.
Right. You don't have to do anything. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have to wait for a check.
Float
and
it
get
and
processed.
file an expense report and all that stuff.
So, and it's a clean operation. So everything's working fine. And then the PO comes back, the bill comes in from Enterprise. And so my bookkeeper says, "Hey, the bill's here." And so she asked me for backup. And I'm like anal to the max on this stuff. So I've got both confirmation numbers, I've got both vans, who the drivers were, and I walk them down there to her. And she puts on the check from the school for the total amount, 2 vans, $74 times 2, 100 and whatever that is, $150. And then both confirmation numbers.
148, Dave.
Yeah. So I get a phone call, an email. I get an email from their accounting department that says, "Hey, Mr. Theus, you didn't pay your fellow counterpart's bill. The check's been applied to your car, but it's not been applied to hers." And I'm like, "Well, that's odd because it's one check
Yeah.
and it's 2 people from the same place and it's the check from the same location." So then he accuses me of not getting it done. So I go to the
What?
bookkeeper and I get the
Don't you love
check.
companies in this day and age?
Yeah.
No, sir, it's your fault.
So I get a copy of the check with both confirmations numbers on it. And I emailed a copy of the check back to him, said, "It's called reconciliation. You're going to have to reconcile it on your side. And so you have to apply it to your accounts. Don't ask me to do your job." And so he won't answer the phone. So each email, I'm like, "Call me directly. Here's my cell number.
Yeah,
Call me and I'll walk you through this."
They refuse to
Yeah.
do that.
So he even said, "No, I'm not going to call you."
Yeah.
So then I called him, his direct line. It says direct on
Oh,
his
really?
on
I'm
his
surprised.
signature, and it goes, and you can tell he picks it up and disconnects it.
Oh,
And
how
so
nice.
I send the last email back to him and said, "Listen, call me, and I will walk you through how I get to do your job too." And so then the guy I've made a friend with, believe it or not, I haven't pissed off everybody, but the guy who actually does gives me the car and hands me the key, we have small talk and we're kind of
Right.
cool together. He calls me, he goes, "Mr. Dave, what's going on? How can I help intervene? Because this guy's kind of he doesn't call anybody." And I said,
Apparently.
whatever his name, Bradley. I said, "Bradley, listen, yeah, I'm an old man and I'm getting to the point where this is going to get nasty, but I really like you and I like the fact that we have a professional working relationship. I'm not going to mess this up." But I said, "He's got to reconcile on his side." And he goes, "Well, we did some of that and found out that yours was applied, but the other half of the check was applied to another guy
Oh, well, that
with
was
another
nice.
name." And I said, "Yeah, that guy's from a different high school.
Right.
The check came from a junior high, and your guy applied half of it to a totally different school, same county, same
Right.
contract, but a different school." And I said, "Bradley, do you see the problem?" He goes, "Yes, sir, Mr. Theus. I understand it." So I said, "You tell that peckerhead to call me next time."
Did not.
Yes, I did. And I said, "Because I'm tired of doing his job too, and we want to get this straight." So 5 minutes later, Bradley calls me back. Goes, "It's taken care of, Mr. Theus. I called him and told him it's on our side and we got to fix it." And he goes, then he found it.
Oh, yeah. Miraculously.
But nobody, I'm telling my kids in my class, guess what the life lesson is? You get to do not only your job, but everyone else's job too.
You have to be prepared. You get what you pay for, Dave. Yeah, I was thinking maybe it was a collection agency, like they sold the debt off, but that would be awfully quick
but
if it was
yeah,
October.
but he was giving me, "Hey, it's the end of the month. We're trying to close our books," nonsense. I'm like, "Well, that's not my problem."
I'm sure
do your
he's
job.
measured on it, right? So he's
Well,
frantically trying to make his collection numbers or whatever.
Yeah,
So,
when I was an accountant for 4 years, I had to reconcile the books and make sure it was applied to the right stuff.
and I'm sure you never fudged them.
No, I never made a mistake ever.
You want to? Here's a little interesting fact I wrote down. There's an ad you've never. Well, I would say in the last 30 years, you've probably never seen an ad for this product that we all use probably every day. and it's an expensive product.
Okay, wait a minute. Set that
And now
up
I'm trying
again.
to figure out how to make this a quiz, but
Well,
difficult for you.
It's a product I've used. You think I've used before?
I'm sure you use it almost every day.
Brill cream,
No, it's expensive product, not like I would
eggs,
say it's over a C note. It's over $100.
and I use it on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm. And you don't see ads for it ever.
And I'm spending a C note a day to do this.
No. The product itself is over $100. And it's a durable good.
I was going to say, does it have utility? I don't use it all up on the first time.
No, it's a durable good. So
A ceiling fan.
No, you see ads for ceiling fans.
Is you said durable good? Okay.
Yeah, that kind of narrows it down, right?
Is it an appliance?
Yes.
Washer and dryer.
There's always ads for that. Maytag Man, all that crap.
Garbage disposal.
Well, I guess it is over $100.
Is it a household appliance?
Yes. Like I said, you use it. I'm almost assured almost everybody listening uses this product every day.
A refrigerator.
No, there's ads for that too.
A toilet.
Ads for toilets.
Does it?
Does it? Is it bigger than a bread box?
Bread box. Is this 20 questions? That could be a bit. 20 questions. Doors. Windows.
It has a door. It has a door on it.
The microwave.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't get ads for those, I guess.
No. Where have you ever seen a TV ad for a microwave?
Some products are specifically advertised in certain mediums, like magazines, but you don't. Who reads a magazine anymore?
But even that, do you ever see a full page ad for a microwave? Washers, dryers, refrigerators. Not sure about disposals, Dave. You might have me on technicality.
Okay,
there.
so before the internet, how did you?
Sears catalogs, or
how did you recollect which one? Like I bought a electric frying pan today. I hate that word. But those things. It's an electric pan. It's got a glass top on it. Sits on top of the stove. I think when you get old,
why would you put it on the stove if it's electric?
Okay, hold on. So this is
that's why I keep going through so many.
This is the utensil that you buy when you're single bachelor,
right?
Or you're getting old.
You're not talking about a griddle. There's an electric pan.
Well,
I know what you're talking about, like
an electric frying pan.
Yeah, I know. It sits up on like 4 legs.
Yeah,
it almost looks like a smallish wok.
Well, yeah, like a casserole.
It's curved sides. Okay.
Yeah, and it's got a glass lid to it.
Well, not all do, but yeah.
Yeah, well, this one does, so you can see through.
Because you went fancy.
Well, $44 fancy. Oof. But what was the point of this story?
I don't know.
But I don't. Other than going online, it's like $44, made in China, and the boxes all beat to hell at Walmart. So I'd found the best box I could, opened it up. I asked the lady, I said, "Look, I'm going to pay for it. Here's my receipt."
Still got remnants of chicken on it from the last person who cooked it.
I said, "Can you open it up, make sure it's not got damage? Because I don't want to drive back to Walmart like I had at the Publix experience."
And make the trek in from a quarter mile away in the parking lot.
So she opens it up, and we're checking the glass isn't broken. I get home, the damn aluminum frame that holds the glass has got a little curl in it. I'm like, "Stuck."
How you ever go to Harbor Freight? You ever go to Harbor Freight?
No. Well,
what a racket. Well, it's a great business. The guys built it into $1 billion business, but it's where you go. You can get basically it's all tools made in China. Anything heavy, cast, table saws. It's a tool place and also has little gizmo stuff. And I go there if I'm going to buy a tool that I only need once and it's kind of an expensive tool. I'll go to Harbor Freight and buy it because you get it for like a third of what it would cost in the big box stores or anywhere else. But so many people go in there, buy the tool, use it, and bring it back. They don't check anything. Same with Home Depot and stuff now.
It's a good story.
It's ridiculous how many people just use the tool once, bring it back, and get full price back. And then they sell. That's what all these huge. Then they throw them in bins and auction off these. You ever look at those auctions for pallets of return tools and stuff?
No,
Oh, it's huge. That's another business out there.
I'm not into tools.
Well, they do it with all products now. Like if you're a big Target fan, you can buy a pallet full of Target returns.
Oh, and it's like a hodgepodge. You don't know really what
Yeah,
you're
you
getting.
don't know. They'll give you they won't promise the what do they call the
SKU or whatever it is.
now the list of what's in there. Supposedly what's
It's
in
like
the
buying
box.
it's like buying a storage
Yes,
locker.
exactly. The same thing. You can kind of eyeball the picture on the internet, and then you bid on it, and you got to ship it. So, but it's just another way of companies getting
Clearing off their crap.
getting some money back on their returned items. But well, listen, we're 4 minutes from the end.
I
Man.
see that.
You got anything you want to?
I have an article that was published yesterday. I'd like to take this conversation to Spaces tonight if you're up for it. But the article is Gen Zs are getting fired. The bosses are. It's been something that people have been talking about, but this came out in Fortune magazine. I should have pulled this up. Hang on.
You're talking about the people who won't return to office and things of that nature.
Well, that's the least of it. It's the kids, Gen Z, they're class of 24. They're my daughter's age, actually.
Class of 24.
No,
that means they're graduating this year.
The people that graduated 20 through 24.
Oh, okay.
It's called Bosses Are Firing Gen Z Grads Just Months After Hiring Them is the name of the article, the title of the article, and it's from Fortune magazine if someone wants to look it up. So you can Google it 2 days ago.
Well, this is a great way to wrap up the show, Dave, on the same way we started. And I would say a lot of those kids don't have parents who instilled any kind of work ethic in them.
They did not model.
Right.
That's exactly right. We had this conversation with my kids today. I said, the education system has failed you. Your parents have failed you.
I'd say it's more, I don't blame the education system for much, right? They give you the tools. They try to get the knowledge in you. It's you as parents who have to step up.
I agree.
And teach your children, the important things. They'll give them the information at school. It's up to you to instill it in them when they return.
And that
home.
happens across the dining room table, right? When your kids came home.
That is the easiest way to do it. Yes. Yeah. If you're looking for an easy way to do it, it's sit down for meals. Yep. So
anyway, so look that up, and I'd like to take that to Spaces if you're up for it for a little bit.
Oh, I guess, Dave, we'll do it just for you.
But I'll work on it after we shut the show.
So I'm going to put hashtag can Gen Zs.
Yeah, they got the sack.
Okay. Sounds good, man.
Sacking the Gen Z. All right. Well,
hey, but today was Oprah's birthday, by the way.
Oprah Winfrey?
Yeah. Did you get her anything?
What do you buy a woman that has everything?
That's good. Hey, that's pretty good. And Paul Ryan's.
The guy from Wisconsin.
Is he? Yes. Yep. Is he still in politics?
The Rhino.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not officially in it, but he's
Good
out
Lord,
there.
he was born in 1970. I guess that's not too bad. 1970. That's only 3 years after me. So, all right. Why don't you say good night then?
Okay. Good night, Gracie. You've been listening to a fine episode of We Can Help with Dave and Woody. And of course, listen to us anywhere that you listen to podcasts on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Spotify Addict. No,
Podcast Addict.
I
couldn't remember it either till you said that.
Podcast Addict. And then, of course, YouTube. We are growing leaps and bounds. Do us a favor. Come on over and smash the, if you like it. I've been trying to read other people's messages. If you're so inclined, if you like what you've seen, if you really don't care, but you want to help us and support us, it really doesn't cost.
That's the best way. Go to your friends' houses, search through the YouTube, and just put a subscribe on the channel.
That's all.
Or tell a friend that it's actually
we can help.
Show.
We can help with Dave and Woody, and that's all we're asking.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, it's time to go.
Bye.
See ya.